So what I want us to do is to start becoming more conscious, start choosing things in a better way for ourselves, and start creating a life that's going to gear us to really take advantage of the opportunities that are going to show up for us in the years to come.
This podcast is brought to you by The Integrated Human. We work up, down, inside out to plug yourself into your potential. If you want to see what we are up to and what's next, sign up to our newsletter or follow us on social media. If you like what we are doing, we really appreciate it if you can like our post on social media and YouTube and help us grow.
All right. Welcome to the Big and Small Podcast. This is Jason Shields and I'm Big.
And I'm Marit and I'm the tiny one.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo, hey, yo.
Back in the hot seat with my bestie. What's up?
It's so much.
Yeah.
No, that there is so much.
Emotional buffers. Buffers.
It's getting hit by a, what's it called? Tsunami wave.
Tsunami wave.
No, nothing much has. Well, a lot has happened. We have had fall has entered Voss.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a wedding.
Yeah, amazing wedding.
So that's kind of what's been up.
Yeah, it's when a 70-year-old man decides to propose to his 69-year-old girlfriend.
Very important that it's 69 and 70.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
70 and 70.
That was one of the comments in marriage. Good thing that you got yourself a lady that's under 70.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. It was a beautiful experience.
It's my parents we're talking about.
Yeah.
They decided to get married in the age of 70 and 69.
Through the work that we do in the Integrated Human, it's about finding more and more meaning in your everyday life, right? Walking into something like the relationship that you've been in for the last 41 years and deciding to make it even more meaningful is such a beautiful thing. And sitting and watching your father look at your mother as his wife with that kind of love and that kind of joy, that was a great thing for me.
I think it's the what we really work on is to see new options, new opportunities in things that are very stable.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not about changing your whole life. It's about changing yourself in your whole life, where you basically are starting to love every moment of it.
It's changing your relationship to your job, changing your relationship to your partner in this case. So
yes.
I think it's a very big thing.
Yeah.
Not many people get married when they're 70 with the person they've been together with for 41 years. Usually you will have like a divorce and they got together and found each other again and stuff like that. But not here. I emphasize when I've been telling people, no, they've been together since, I don't know, but for 41 years. It's not kind of any drama around it. It's more just seeing, again, new opportunities within set frames. So, yeah. So I've kind of been occupied with that.
Yeah, so cool. That's a big process. And you giving that to your parents, showing up in that way was amazing to see also. And you holding that space and giving those speeches and, you being the youngest of all the kids in the room, but taking that space as the person who has the word and really loving on your parents. Like that was great. The food was amazing. The environment was great. The speeches were wonderful. I loved it.
Yeah. So basically that's been my life the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. So has anything else hit you lately?
Well, I had a patient that came into the clinic. I think that was an interesting conversation. So many people know we have a chiropractic clinic.
Yes.
That we run. With daytime chiropractor, evening podcasters, and weekends shamans. So in the daytime, we are running a chiropractic clinic. And in the practice, we have calm music playing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to have the news on. Yeah. I don't want to have commercial. It brings the wrong atmosphere.
Yeah.
So, I've been going through Spotify and finding kind of some sort of music. It's quite difficult because there's some, like you have a super good playlist and you get to one song and it just wrecks everything because it's too loud compared to the rest on the playlist. And if I then have a patient with migraines, it's not a good fit for the clinic. So found a list that's soft and it works, and we want people to, when they enter our view when people enter the clinic is that it should be a place where they feel at home and feel relaxed.
Yes.
That's kind of our the clinic's worldview on that. So we are working on that, and then this is 5 o'clock in the afternoon, or maybe 6 o'clock in the evening, and a wonderful guy comes in. He's high energy, love him, super cool guy, very busy businessman. Been driving for 1.5 hours to get here, and he goes. He sits down and we start to talk, and then I do some work, and he sits quietly alone, and he goes, "You must be very tired of this music at the end of the day." But it's very like meditative, and I'm like, "Yeah, it is, but so it's not the music I meditate to at home." And he goes, "Do you meditate?" And I said, "Yeah, I meditate." And don't I look like a person that meditates? And he said, "No." And I'm like, that is either the best compliment I ever gotten, or you're very rude.
Yeah.
Because if it's the best compliment, I would say that I don't look like one that's meditate. Because like when I started meditating, I had a lot of stereotypes around
preconceived ideas.
Big word, preconceived ideas around people that meditated. One of the reasons why I found it very difficult. So I took it as a compliment that I didn't look it like that. If I took it as very rude, it would be like, do I seem that stressed out that I need to meditate? Didn't find that one to be true when I kind of checked in with myself. So I figured out it was number one, that I didn't look like a meditator. Because it seemed like he would have the same stereotypical ideas that I had. Being a businessman. So I said, no, I meditate quite a bit. But it's again, not this music, it's different music. So he said, so, and then I asked, why do you meditate? And I said, well, good question, feeling put on the spot in the reception. But I said, no, I meditate with the way I meditate and how I've been taught to meditate. I meditate to be able to get the ability to observe myself. I'm not meditating to quiet the mind. I don't think that's possible. I think maybe you can get to a place where there is no thoughts, and when you can observe the thoughts and emotions and what's going on, but I don't think you cannot have thoughts. I think that's impossible. But the way I've been taught to meditate, it's to get the ability to observe. And that he found very strange and very interesting, because that was not what he thought meditation was. He said, well, I don't know what other people define it as, but that's my reason for meditating. And I said, it makes me able to stand here and be just as polite to you at 5:30, 6 o'clock, as to the patient that came in at 7 o'clock in the morning. Without meditation, I wouldn't have been able to do that. So that kind of was a very interesting conversation to have at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the evening. So that leads me to my question to you, which was, what do you think meditation is? Because we talk a lot about meditation, but I don't think you ever define what you mean it is. Not on the podcast, at least.
Meditation is the ability to come back. That's the definition. So it's the process of coming back to your center, to you, to yourself, whatever you then identify yourself as, right? And I'm not talking about cats or dogs or electronic dragon chickens or whatever people are identifying as today. It's about recentering yourself. It is true that you will never quiet the mind. You only find the place inside you that is silent. So very well observed. If you take a functional MRI of the brain has between 50 and 150 thoughts a minute, but you're not aware of them, are you? Because you may be paying attention to me, but your brain in the background is actually like a radio with 150 channels playing at the same time. It's just giving options for you to hang yourself up in. And sometimes it comes up with something brilliant. Often it's just trash, right? Yeah, but that's the way it is with everybody, right? It's just static.
Yeah.
So things I think they figured out that over 90% of the thoughts you're having today are the same ones as you had yesterday and the day before and day before. Most of them are just repetitive garbage that comes up that are not relevant to your life at all right now. And when they say, be in the moment, mindfulness, and all of this. It's actually what they mean by that is to recenter yourself to what you're doing and what is true now.
But what do you mean when you say recenter yourself? Because
Well,
it's like one of those words that we say,
yeah.
but do actually, like, people go, I'm going to recenter myself. What do we know what it means? What is it actually?
Well, that's a great question. If I'm going to ask you and the people that are listening right now, if they are actually conscious of the bottom of their feet.
When you start that sentence, I already start feeling.
I know you start feeling your feet because you know I'm going to go there, right? Exactly. But most people are like, oh, I have to remember my feet. So recentering to the body. And the body is the bottom of the flow funnel, or the bottom of the structure of consciousness.
That's what we live in.
Yes, which you actually live in all the time. But your awareness gets caught in the different layers of this structure of consciousness. So I just brought you back to the bottom one, which was your body, right? So if you're feeling angry, for example, angry in your heart or sad in your heart, you become sadness, right? And so your awareness is all about the sadness. You may not be thinking about your feet at that moment either, right? You kind of forget your body and you're all about the emotion. At that moment, you're also not really aware of your highest goals and ambitions because you're caught up in the sadness or the anger. That's how people are supposed to be, let's say, a hostess in an event, but they get angry at somebody and they blow up. Are they really following their role as a hostess, or are they wrecking the party?
Wrecking the party.
They're wrecking the party, right? So at that moment, then they're not really in alignment or not centered in what their job is at that moment. So you have the body and the emotions, and then you have, for example, roles above your emotions, which would be the hostess. Let's say, to be a hostess, if I'm going to be the host of a party and I blow up on somebody, then I'm not fulfilling my role, right? Above that is your personal philosophy. Now, when I say coming back to center, being centered, it means coming back and aligning yourself with your chosen chain of frames.
So the whole situation away.
The whole situation, because if I'm actually not aware of my role in the moment, I'm not in the moment, am I? You see, this is the thing they talk about. Oh, be in the moment. What does that mean?
Yeah,
what the fuck does that mean? It's so irritating, right? Be mindful. Mindful of what, man? I want to get away from my mind, Most people are thinking,
my mind is full.
My mind is full. Exactly. Instead of mindfulness, it's full mindness. Yeah. My mind is crazy, So you come back to your personal philosophy about who you are, how you move in the world. You know who you are. You're integrated with what you believe about yourself and how you're presenting yourself, what your job is, and you're aligning your emotions with that, and you're acting appropriately. But then your personal philosophy also has to be integrated to your worldview, meaning that you play a part in the world. You can't have your own philosophy around things, the way things work, if the world works in a different way.
You can,
and most people do to some degree, and they get hammered.
A big conflict.
They become in conflict, right? And that means if they're allowed to have that, like, I should work and not get tired. I should never get tired because I don't get tired.
I don't think that.
Yeah, works. I don't think that works, right? The world is filled with nice people. Well, the world has nice people,
but it's also bad people.
Yeah, and depending on
what's kind and what's not kind depends on the situation.
Depends on situations.
It's I'm often the not kind one, but I'll do it with the greatest kindness.
Yes, yeah, you're not the nicest always, but you're always kind. Actually always. Yes, kind. You're always kind.
I don't think. And I know people don't perceive that,
and
but
you're actually no, and you're actually very loving. You're extremely you're extremely loving, but that doesn't always feel good. And that's again a higher level of love, because the emotional love, the hot, sexy, romantic love, or the mothering love, that's one level. That's one layer. That's basically in the emotional field. But unconditional love comes from understanding from a higher perspective, because it's a situation and a container for all the emotions at once. That is unconditional love, because you can have any emotional experience with a person, but still stay connected.
And that's unconditional love. It's emotion in context.
Yes. Well, there is a context, yes, but the context is love you, connected with you, even so. Like a kid does every wrong thing, you're embarrassed, you're happy, you're sad, you're depressed, you have paranoia, all the things that a child can give a mother, for example, but the mother still loves the child, which is then the context of unconditional love. So yeah, in that way, yes. And then you have that personal philosophy and worldview, but then you also have universal awareness. And that's another way of coming to the center. Basically, it's on top of all these other ones. And you're not really in the moment unless you have contact with that either. Okay?
It sounds like a fuck ton of work now.
Yeah, well, it's a fuck ton of awareness. It's a fuck ton of awareness is what it is.
Like, shouldn't it just be like, back?
Yeah. This is the first.
It's kind of, you have to get all the layers. It would say that you need to come back often to the body first, and then you kind of had to align yourself in all of the different layers on the way up to actually come fully back.
Well, generally, in my personal experience, it's much easier to go back to pure consciousness and then down. You see,
I have so much experience there.
Yeah, well, it will.
I think it would be easier for me to go back to my body.
But that's the thing. Yeah, but that's the thing. Many people use the body in order to access this. You're correct. So breathing techniques, chanting, mantras, prayer, special equipment, like you've seen the beads that people do mala with. All
that's
of
special
these,
equipment. So
yes, like special equipment. But those things are incredible for bringing yourself back because the body is in the moment. Your body's not in the past, and your body's a product of the past, but it's not in the past and it's not in the future. Only your head can go to the future. So in a way, it's a much more reliable check or check in to the moment and recentering, right? So we have that. And then universal awareness is basically the fact that you are the center of your universe, which you are. And people are like, well, what do you mean? What you talking about, Jason? You are the center of your universe, but so is everybody else. Nobody can truly understand your way of experiencing your life. Somebody touches you on the shoulder, how you interpret it, what it means is completely unique to you. The colors that you see are completely unique to you. I don't know if you saw that on the internet, but there was a picture of a lady in a dress. Yes, yeah. Exactly. And some people see gold and black, and some people see blue and yellow, and people are fighting over which one it is. We can't even agree on colors, my friend. Like, our nervous systems are completely unique, and we agree on certain things are a certain way. We agree on the color green. We agree on hot and cold to a certain degree, but we know it's all relative because the nervous system is a relativity machine, basically. Our brains constantly project and predict what's going to happen the next moment. And this is one of those things that also hurts people, okay? Expectation. Why do you have an expectation? So if I say dun da 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 da,
dun dun,
exactly, it's a pattern recognition that we have, and our brains constantly projecting what it expects to happen the next moment. So you're actually not experiencing the room as it is right now, just like you have to go back and feel your feet right now. You're not actually seeing the room. Your brain is projecting the room until you look and look and look and look and look, right? Because your prefrontal cortex only has room for a very small amount of information that it can prioritize. So we talk about this to say that if the amount of information around you is a football field, then what you can actually perceive at any one time is a postage stamp. The rest of it is completely filled in by your subconscious mind and your predictive processing, which is a lot of people, it's unbelievable. But then when your predictive processing doesn't match what you experience, you have that cognitive dissonance, that's called. And you often are disappointed or angry or shocked or whatever, right? So coming back to the moment and really being in the moment and understanding that you're the center and you are in control of your reactions and triggers and all the things that are happening, you don't get shocked. You just adapt and absorb what's happening in the next moment and continue to roll forward, right? And then the top of this whole beautiful moment or centering that we're talking about, the structure of consciousness, is pure consciousness, which is a state where you are an objective observer of all of these layers of consciousness and can act from that. And that's where you get flow. In these moments when everything's in alignment, you have this flow state that they talk about and that we help people achieve in their lives, where things are connected, synchronous. Jung talks about synchronicities. It doesn't feel like it costs you energy. It feels good just to be there and do stuff. It's when you get knocked out of that channel, that structure of consciousness, the flow funnel, that you then feel like things don't match and it doesn't meet your expectations and you're not in control and channeling your emotions, but they're controlling you and all of these things. So when you talk to that business person about meditation, that person would be 100% served by meditation because it is the most powerful, most potent performance tool that you can use. And I think you've seen that in your life.
Yeah.
My friend Charles makes $8,000 an hour to teach CEOs how to meditate in New York City. $8,000 an hour. And he teaches the same methods as we do. And why is that? Because everybody agrees that uses meditation that your performance goes up. You're clear, you're feeling better, you can get yourself out of the way so that you can perform better. It's amazing. So that was a great question. Thank you. So this is the
very big answer and hard to understand.
Yeah. Well, coming back to center, be here now, right? But it's not just that. It's be aware of yourself now and channel that. That's why I'm writing a big book.
Big book.
Yes. So meditation is the simple, effortless process of letting everything go so that you can truly perceive what's going on the inside, so you can work from the cleanest place inside you in a powerful way.
Sounds so easy and wonderful.
Yes, it is.
And it's so freaking hard.
Well, that's it. That's it. The most simple things are the hardest things, This
was one of the ladies that attended Flow State that we have in September, which is our big event. Mm-hmm. And we talked about the meditations, and she said, because we're expanding the next time in March, we're expanding to 4 full days, basically we feel we need more time to teach, and we need to give people more time in meditation, especially. And I love moksha meditation, which is silent meditation. And it was interesting because she said, I found that one to be the hardest. Because we have different type of meditation. We use music in many of them. Steve uses integrated breath, very powerful meditations. I like all of them, but I prefer moksha meditation, which I bring with me, and all the other meditations.
Yeah.
It was just interesting because she said the hardest one was the silent one.
Yeah.
And I was not surprised, but it was painful to hear because it just shows me how little we are able to sit without distractions. And I think that is always getting tears to my eyes. Just think about it, because we don't stand a chance without silence.
That's true.
And so I think that's pretty scary.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that's happening now among elite people. And I'm not an elitist like that, but in terms of performance, in the old days, it was only the rich people who had computers and then mobile phones. Now everybody has them. Now the truly rich and elite performers in America are sending their kids to schools that have no computers because they need to learn how to focus. They need to learn how to write and read and not be filling their heads constantly with short form social media, like TikTok, for example.
Never downloaded that app.
Yeah, me either. Don't do it. Telling you guys listening, don't do it if you get it off your phone. The point is that elite people understand that if you are going to decide what direction your life is going to take, you have to be present in your life and you have to take choices. Most people are so distracted, they're using digital medias over 8 hours a day just on their mobile phones, and then they have TV and computer desktops on top of it.
And then we listen to podcasts and we listen to music, and we're engaging conversations online and chats and
it's so
news
much
online. And
exactly, we're so distracted. And how much autonomy, how much actual decision making and direction are we taking, and how much is being decided by society and by other people who don't really have our best interest and don't know what we want. Even if they had our best interest in mind, they don't know what we want.
We don't know what we want, because we can't sit in silence to figure out what the fuck we want.
Bingo. Exactly. If you can't look at yourself and you can't feel yourself, how are you going to know what you want? How are you going to know what you need? Exactly. Well said. It's like, why would you want to look at yourself? Well, because you have to figure out what you want in your life, right? So it's so important. And you're going to have an elite group of people who are basically running their own lives and probably running everybody else's life also, because everybody else is so busy trying to entertain themselves. Right? It's amazing. So being a strong centered person, coming back to the flow funnel, yes, it is quite complicated in a way, but it's a simple process. Start by being present in your body. Continue to breathe and work yourself deeper and deeper into who you are as a person. Look at what you're doing. Ask yourself why you're doing it, right? Ask yourself, is this what you want in your life, or do you want to change and do something else? See what you're scared of. I mean, this sounds really ridiculous to talk about, but most people never confront the fact that they're scared of something and why they're scared of it. They just avoid it. Right? It's really interesting.
We had a lady in one of the groups you work with, which discovered, because you asked us to ask what we want in life and what goals we have, and some people know really well what they want, and this lady we've been working with us for many years, and now she finally realized that she doesn't dare to write down her goals because she's afraid that she won't reach them.
Exactly.
But she acknowledged the fear.
Yeah.
Instead of just getting, I do it later, or I can't do this, or all the other overlaying excuses, that is also, she's justified. She's having those thoughts and feelings as well, but she managed now to really work to the foundation of the problem, which was that she has fear.
Yes.
Because she's afraid that putting it down and not reaching them will be devastating.
Too shattering. Exactly.
Because then she couldn't do it.
Yeah.
It's better to not having tried, or just done life without any losses in one way, because then the thought potential, well, you could have.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of acknowledging that you couldn't, or you didn't actually dare to go for it, because like you said, if you just continue work, the chance of you succeeding, it may look different than you thought.
Yes.
You have experienced a shit ton of that over the years now, but
it's rarely worse.
It's always better.
It's always better.
It's never, and seldom looks the way I thought, but it's always better and more whole.
Exactly.
It's not a simple, it's not a goal in itself. It's not a medal. It's not, you can't define it with a thing. It's much more holistic than that.
Yeah.
If you continue working with it.
Yeah. And maybe gold later. Who knows?
Yeah, if that's within it.
Yeah, that if that's where it takes you, but the development that you had in that direction gave you something way more valuable later. And that's the thing, that as we grow, our goals change. Now, do you want some elite information?
No.
Hell no, I want to elite.
Sure.
Yeah. So listen, goals are set in a context of habits, right? And people are like, what do you mean? Well, Well, if you want to be a world champion, you have to think like a world champion, eat like a world champion, sleep like a world champion, train like a world champion, you have to do everything like a world champion. It's the habit of being a world champion, and then you become the world champion, right? Okay, good.
And if you want to be a meditator, you need to meditate.
You need to meditate. Bingo, right? I want to be an evolved, awake person and a meditator. Well, then there are habits that give you that thing, right? Okay, so now I'm working from the outside in, okay, and from the down up, because that's the opposite of what we always say: up, down, inside out. But this is to help people kind of reverse engineer the flow funnel and the structure of consciousness. So goals are set in the context of habits. Habits are set in the context of emotions, right? Because are you going to do the thing to become the world champion whether you are high or low? Yeah, you're going to do it. Whether you are positive or negative, yes. Doesn't matter what emotional state. So all emotional states are present there. It's just something you do, right? But you still have to mean it when you train, okay? So the same way, it has to become one of your roles. You have to have the role of an athlete and a competitor and a world champion wannabe, and you have to put all your energy, which is your emotion, into it, and then you work that through your habits, and then you get your goal, right? So people are understanding the chain here, okay? So the goal, the habits, the emotional energy, the energy there, the role, right? You have to have it as a role, one of your three major roles. And then you have to have a personal philosophy that allows you to be a winner. You must have that. You have to see that as a person that you can be.
So if you want to be a spiritual person, you actually have to allow yourself to be a spiritual person. If you want to be a spiritual person, which you are, if you meditate,
yes,
mumbo jumbo spiritual, it's true spiritualism, then you have to allow that in your role. Then
yes, there has to be, or in your personal philosophy.
Sorry, not role, but well, it should be in your role. But not necessarily as a meditator, but it should be in there. As one of the credentials for being that thing. And then in your personal philosophy, you need to allow yourself to be one and be looked as one.
Yes, you, in your personal philosophy, for example, you have to give yourself the permission to be silent. Give yourself the permission to give something to yourself, to be focused on yourself. A lot of people have the personal philosophy that they just have to serve everybody else, right? But they shouldn't give themselves anything, right? So that's out of balance there. So a lot of the greatest people who have served, like communities like Mother Teresa, they were selfish in that they prayed. They gave to themselves by connecting with Jesus. Like, that many nuns are married to Jesus, right? They have a wedding ring on. So they would pray and have union. That was what they gave themselves. And then they would take the energy they got there to give to everybody else.
That would be their Netflix and chill.
That's their Netflix and chill.
Just it actually most likely gave them more than Netflix and chill.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And then the worldview, of course. Now, this is it. You must have a vision in order to really achieve a goal. You must have a vision of what that is for yourself. Now, in your life, do you have a vision of who you want to be, how you want to have it, what your goals are going to look like, how you're going to look like as you're achieving these things, how you're going to feel like? You need to have a vision. You need to become a visionary.
But for your life.
For your life. You're a visionary for your life. And then when you take it to the next level, it becomes a prophecy. That's when it comes from your true center. Because was it a prophecy that I was going to win the worlds in jiu-jitsu? It was. And how do you know that? Well, somebody asked, well, you think you're going to win? I said, yeah, I know I'm going to win. Oh, don't say that. What happens if you don't? I'm just going to try again. Like, I'm not stopping until that thing is finished. That is happening. Then it's not only a vision for my future, but it's decided from my insides and out, from my up down, that that's going to happen. So when you understand that everything in your life that has happened to you has created the person that's sitting here now that has the potential to have the vision of a future that's compelling and exciting and energetic, then you've understood that your success is a prophecy. So at the highest level, when you really centered yourself, you have a prophecy, you have a vision, you have a philosophy, you have roles, you have an emotional charge, and you're driven, your energy is directed towards the habits that give you the goal. And then that chain creates or is the chain of manifestation, right? But if you don't think that you're deserving and, it's really not in line with your philosophy that you should have good things in your life and that you can give good things to yourself and that you should be a value. And if you're not really sure what you want to do with your life and you're kind of wandering around and don't know what your roles are and you're a little distracted by entertaining yourself and you don't have anything really important in your life and you just want to entertain yourself, and that makes you feel good until you're bored of Netflix, and then you kind of find some junk food to eat because that makes you feel a little good, and you don't really want to work out because getting off the sofa to work out is a little bit of an effort, and then your habits aren't that great because there's no reason for you to have good habits. Do you think you're going to be manifesting anything important? Probably not.
Illness, sickness.
Exactly. And that's where
pain.
And pain. Yeah, exactly.
And suffering.
And suffering. Exactly. 100%. And unfortunately, what I just described on the way down is not very inspirational, but a lot of people are not living inspirational lives. 60% of the people in the US are obese. 20% of infants born today are obese. It's like, how in the world has that happened? It's because we are distracted from ourselves. We are not able to sit in silence long enough to figure out ourselves out at all. And most people aren't interested. They just want to be entertained. So be elite, meditate, be like Marit, meditate.
Okay. I don't think that we don't have to be like me. Thank you very much. But okay.
So be like yourself, like Marit.
We're fucking hard on becoming a little less beginner human every day.
That's right.
That's what he means with that. That's what he means.
Yes, we're becoming a little less beginner human every single day.
Every single day.
Yeah. Love and admiration. All right. Remember, you matter. Unless you multiply yourself by the speed of light squared, then you're energy. But if you can't be energy, matter.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. We hope you felt we added something to your day and hopefully your life. If you want to learn more, subscribe to our newsletter and find us at integrated-human.com. That is integrated-human.com. Integrated Human on YouTube and other social media platforms. Have a great day and thank you again for listening. Love, light, and upgrade from us at the Integrated Human team.